Let me ask you something. How much time did you spend on your phone today? Now, how much of that was you swiping? The average Tinder user spends 90 minutes per day on the app. That's an hour and a half. They log in 11 times daily. 11. That's more sessions than most people spend eating meals. In 2024, dating apps generated $6.18 billion in revenue. Billion, with a B. But here's the thing nobody talks about. Less than 1% of matches actually lead to long-term relationships. 1%. So if you're not finding love, what exactly are you finding? You're not finding love. You're gambling for it. And the house always wins. To understand how we got here, we need to talk about a psychologist from the 1950s. And pigeons. Yes, pigeons. B.F. Skinner wasn't trying to revolutionize dating. He was studying behavior, specifically what makes behavior stick. What makes you keep doing something, even when the rewards are random. He put pigeons in boxes, gave them a button to peck. Sometimes pecking gave them food, sometimes it didn't. The pigeons? They went absolutely crazy for it. Skinner called it variable ratio reinforcement, random rewards. He was so confident in this technique that he claimed he could turn a pigeon into a pathological gambler, and he did. The pigeons developed rituals. They'd spin in circles, tap their feet, create elaborate dances, all hoping to trigger the next food pellet. Does this sound familiar yet? Now replace the pigeon with you. Replace the food pellet with a match notification. Replace the button with a swipe. See where this is going? When Tinder launched in 2012, it didn't invent online dating. Match.com had existed for almost 20 years. But Tinder did something different, something brilliant. They turned dating into a game, not metaphorically, literally. Swipe left, swipe right. Points for matches, levels of engagement. They gamified love. The swipe itself is genius. It's effortless. You barely have to think. Left, right, left, right. Your thumb does the work. Your brain just reacts. They removed every barrier. No lengthy profiles to fill out. No questionnaires. No agonizing over what to say. Just swipe. It's frictionless, and friction is the enemy of addiction. Some people are building alternatives. Community-focused apps, friend-matching platforms, interest-based connections. Not everyone needs to find romantic love right now. Maybe, but here's the kicker. Dopamine doesn't flood your brain when you get a match. It floods your brain in anticipation of a match. The waiting, the hoping, the maybe. That's why the anticipation is more powerful than the actual reward. Your brain gets high on possibility, on potential, and dating apps have engineered that into every single swipe. Remember Skinner's pigeons? They got addicted because the reward was unpredictable. Sometimes they got food, sometimes they didn't. That unpredictability is the secret ingredient. Here's the math. Men on Tinder have a 0.6% match rate. That's one match for every 140 swipes. 140. Women match more often, but that creates its own problems. Men swipe right 60% of the time. Women, 20%. This creates two completely different experiences, two different kinds of gambling. For men, it's scarcity. The matches are so rare that every swipe feels like it matters, so you swipe more and more, chasing that elusive notification. For women, it's abundance. So many matches that they become meaningless. The paradox of choice. Too many options equals no good options. Different problems, same outcome. Both sides stay on the app. Keep swiping, keep hoping, keep gambling. That's not a bug. That's the business model. Let's talk about casinos, because dating apps didn't invent these techniques. They borrowed them from Las Vegas, from slot machines, from an industry built on behavioral psychology. Slot machines are designed to keep you playing. The lights, the sounds, the near misses. Every element is calibrated to create anticipation, to create hope, to create addiction. The near miss. 3 symbols, 2 match, 1 doesn't. Your brain interprets that as almost winning, so you try again, even though mathematically you're not getting closer to winning at all. Dating apps do this too. You match, you message, they ghost. That's a near miss. Or worse, you don't match, but the app tells you someone liked you. They just won't show you who, unless you pay. Some users have reported that dating apps deliberately drip feed matches. You're about to leave the app? Suddenly a match. You're inactive for a few days. Here's someone who liked you. Coincidence? The algorithms are secret, closely guarded, but former employees and data analysts have reverse engineered them. And the truth, they're not designed to help you find love. They're designed to keep you looking. Let's talk about who profits from all this. Match Group, they own Tinder. They also own Hinge, OkCupid, Match.com, and Plenty of Fish. They're not just in the dating business. They are the dating business. In 2024, Match Group made $3.5 billion from Tinder alone. $3.5 billion. From an app that gives you 90 seconds of hope at a time. The business model is freemium, free to use, but severely limited. Want to see who liked you? Pay. Want unlimited swipes? Pay. Want to be seen by more people? Pay. They sell boosts, temporary visibility spikes, $10 for 30 minutes of being seen. They sell super likes, a way to stand out, to show you really care, except everyone else can buy them too. Tinder Plus, Tinder Gold, Tinder Platinum. Each tier promises better results, more matches, more visibility, more success, but the house always needs more players at the bottom than winners at the top. Match Group tracks revenue per person. In 2025, it hit $16.28 per user. They're not just tracking matches, they're tracking how much they can extract from your loneliness. They've monetized loneliness, turned human connection into a commodity, and they've made it so profitable that they have no incentive to actually help you find someone. The longer you stay single, the more you're worth. So let's review what we've learned. Variable rewards, check. Gamification, check. Artificial scarcity, check. Near misses, check. These aren't accidents. This is a weapons-grade psychological warfare, and you're the target. Remember when I said romantic love and cocaine activate the same brain regions? That wasn't a metaphor. Neuroscientist Helen Fisher did the brain scans. The patterns are almost identical. Love is a drug, and dating apps are the dealers. Heavy dating app users show the same neurological patterns as gambling addicts. The same compulsive checking, the same inability to stop, the same dopamine dysregulation. It's not a coincidence. It's by design. And the rituals. Oh, the rituals. People check their apps first thing in the morning, last thing at night, during meals, during work, in the bathroom, at weddings, at funerals. The Pigeons would be proud. But here's the thing. Unlike gambling, dating app addiction is socially acceptable, encouraged even. When's the last time someone said, hey, maybe you should quit looking for love? Never. That would be cruel. So the addiction hides in plain sight. Imagine if someone spent 90 minutes a day at a slot machine, 11 sessions a day, every day. You'd call that a problem. You'd stage an intervention. But on a dating app, that's just trying. And here's the really dystopian part. We know. Most users know they're being manipulated. Studies show people are aware dating apps are designed to be addictive. And they use them anyway. Knowledge isn't enough. You're not weak. You're not stupid. You're chemically compromised. Your brain is running software from 10,000 years ago. These apps are running algorithms from last quarter. It's not a fair fight. Some apps have tried to fight back. Hinge's tagline is designed to be deleted. They promise meaningful connections, long-term relationships, a different approach. Sounds great, right? There's just one problem. Hinge is owned by Match Group, the same company that owns Tinder. They're not disrupting the industry. They're segmenting the market, offering a premium option for people who feel too good for Tinder. But it's the same house, running the same game. It's brilliant, actually. If you're young and looking for hookups, use Tinder. If you're older and want something serious, use Hinge or Match.com. Different brands, different marketing, same company, same algorithms, same addiction mechanics. When Match Group buys a competitor, they don't shut it down. They keep it running, keep the brand, keep the users, eliminate the actual competition while maintaining the appearance of choice. It's monopoly with better PR. Match Group controls roughly 60% of the online dating market. 60%. That's not a company. That's an empire, and empires don't give up territory willingly. And regulators? They're still trying to figure out if Facebook is bad. Dating apps barely register. There's no oversight, no regulation, no consumer protection. It's the Wild West. And you're the prospector getting sold a lousy map. But wait, you're thinking. People do meet on dating apps. Some couples get married, have kids, success stories exist, and you're right. They do. About the same rate as winning at blackjack. That's called survivorship bias. We see the winners and assume winning is common. We don't see the millions of people who swiped for years and got nothing, or worse, got just enough to stay hopeful. That's the genius. Give people just enough success to keep them engaged. A match here, a date there. Just enough to think next time might be different. It's the same strategy casinos use with comps. Keep you in the building. And the longer you've been on the apps, the harder it is to quit. You've invested time, energy, money, hundreds of hours of swiping. Surely it has to pay off eventually, right? That's the sunk cost fallacy, and it keeps you trapped. While you're swiping, what aren't you doing? Joining a club, taking a class, going to events, meeting people in real life. The dating apps aren't just taking your money, they're taking your alternatives. And here's something nobody talks about. Dating apps make you worse at dating. In real life, you have to read body language, handle rejection face-to-face, have actual conversation. Skills atrophy when you don't use them. People become dependent on app features, conversation starters, icebreakers, prompts. Then they meet someone in real life and freeze. No algorithm to tell them what to say. No profile to read first, just awkward silence. Psychologist Barry Schwartz called it the paradox of choice. More options make us less satisfied, less committed, always wondering if someone better is just one more swipe away. Dating apps give you thousands of options and paralyze you. Why settle for this person when the next swipe might be your soulmate? Why invest in getting to know someone when you have 50 other matches? The apps don't just enable commitment issues, they manufacture them. The apps train you to treat people like products. Swipe through the catalog. Reject based on one photo. Discard if the conversation isn't immediately perfect. It's not dating, it's shopping, and people aren't products. And efficiency. Dating apps promise efficiency. Why waste time meeting people who aren't compatible? Let the algorithm filter them out. Sounds great, but compatibility isn't a checklist. Chemistry isn't data. Love isn't optimizable. The algorithm thinks it knows you based on your swipes, your messages, your behavior. It builds a profile. But you're not your data. You're more complex than that. And so is everyone you're rejecting based on 6 photos and a bio. And photos. Let's talk about photos. Everyone uses their best ones or someone else's. Photos from 5 years ago, 20 pounds ago, professional lighting, filters. It's not deception exactly. It's just optimized presentation, but it sets up every interaction as a disappointment. And texting. God, the texting. Every message analyzed, overthought. What do they mean by that? Why did they use a period instead of an exclamation point? Why did it take 3 hours to respond? You're not building connection. You're building anxiety. And if it's not working out, just ghost. No explanation, no closure. Just disappear. The apps make it easy. Too easy. You never have to face consequences. Never have to have uncomfortable conversations. Just unmatch and move on. Women report doing more emotional labor on dating apps, writing longer messages, asking questions, carrying conversations, while men often send hey or worse. The apps enable low-effort approaches, and somehow we've accepted that as normal. And men are told it's a numbers game. Just swipe more, message more, cast a wide net. Quantity over quality, which means everyone's time gets wasted. Mass-produced approaches meeting defensive skepticism. Nobody wins. And safety. Dating apps are hunting grounds for scammers, catfish, and worse. Romance scams cost victims billions. Fake profiles are everywhere. Verification is minimal. The platforms do just enough to avoid liability. Your safety is your problem. Romance scammers build fake profiles, fake identities. They build emotional connections. Then they ask for money, emergency, sick relative, travel funds, investment opportunity. And people send it, billions of dollars. The platforms know and do almost nothing. Catfishing, fake photos, fake lives, fake everything. People invest months in relationships with someone who doesn't exist. The emotional damage is real. The person isn't. And the apps? They'll verify your email, but not your face. The platforms hide behind Section 230. They're not publishers. They're not responsible for user content. Not liable for what happens. It's genius legal cover and terrible consumer protection. And mental health. Studies link heavy dating app use to anxiety, depression, and low self-esteem. The constant rejection, the superficial judgments, the commodification. It takes a toll. But the apps keep you using, keep you hoping, keep you sick. Dating apps supercharge comparison. You're not just comparing potential partners. You're comparing yourself to every other profile. Am I attractive enough, successful enough, interesting enough? It's social media comparison on steroids. Dating apps create an attractiveness economy. The most attractive users get the most attention. Everyone else fights for scraps. It's not egalitarian, it's brutally hierarchical, and everyone knows where they rank. The algorithm learns who you match with, then shows you more people like them, and shows you to more people like the people who liked you. It's a feedback loop. Narrowing your options, reinforcing patterns, limiting possibility. And if you're not in the algorithm's preferred demographics, good luck. Studies show racial bias in matching, age bias, body type bias. The algorithm learns from user behavior, and user behavior is biased, so the bias gets automated and scaled. Location matters. In big cities, dating apps work better. More users, more options, more matches. In rural areas, ghost towns, the apps promise connection, but they deliver differently based on zip code, digital redlining. And age. The apps skew young. As you get older, the pool shrinks. Older users report feeling invisible, especially women. Ageism is rampant, automated, socially acceptable. The apps don't fix dating problems. They amplify cultural biases. And if you have a disability, the apps are largely inaccessible. But more than that, the snap judgment format discriminates. You can't explain context, build understanding, show your full self. It's photos first, everything else later, if you get that far. Everyone's performing, curating, optimizing. Nobody's being real because real doesn't get matches. Authentic doesn't win. The apps reward performative perfection and punish vulnerability, so everyone lies. To themselves, to each other. But let's get back to money, because that's what this is really about. Dating apps have turned loneliness into a revenue stream, and they've made it as profitable as possible. They use every pricing trick, surge pricing based on demand, personalized pricing based on your behavior, time-limited offers, flash sales, fear of missing out, scarcity tactics. It's not dating, it's dynamic pricing for human connection. And subscriptions, they make them hard to cancel, buried in settings, multiple confirmation screens. Are you sure? You'll lose all these benefits. They guilt you, they warn you, they make it just difficult enough that some people give up. And auto-renewal. Default on. Hard to turn off. You think you canceled. You didn't. Next month charge. Oh, you weren't using the app? Doesn't matter. You're still subscribed. Read the fine print. The marketing is brilliant. Success stories, testimonials, promises of connection. Find your soulmate. Meet your match. It's designed to be deleted. But the deletion rate? They never publish that. Just the success stories. Just the winners. They partner with influencers. Sponsored content. Affiliate links. Your favorite content creator tells you how great the app is. They don't mention the payment or the algorithm that's designed to keep you subscribed. And data, God, the data they collect, your location, your photos, your messages, your swipe patterns, your behavior. They know more about your preferences than you do, and they sell it to advertisers, to data brokers. Your loneliness is profitable data. Some apps collect biometric data, facial recognition, photo analysis. They're building databases of your face, your body, your identity. The terms of service say they can use it for any purpose. In perpetuity, you're not the customer, you're the product. The terms of service, thousands of words, nobody reads them. They know nobody reads them. Buried in there? You grant them license to your photos, your messages, your likeness, forever, for any purpose, including training AI. Your photos train their AI. Your conversations teach their chatbots. Your preferences build their models. You're not just the product, you're unpaid labor, building the system that exploits you. And you can't leave, because everyone's on the apps. It's where people meet now. If you're not on them, you're not in the game. That's called network effects. The more people use it, the more valuable it becomes, and the harder to leave. 20 years ago, online dating had stigma. It was for desperate people. Now it's the default, the normal. Meet someone in real life? That's weird. We've normalized platform-mediated connection, and platforms profit from that normalization. And alternatives, meeting people through friends, at events, through hobbies. Those spaces are shrinking. People stay home, swipe instead. The apps aren't filling a gap. They're creating one, then selling the solution. COVID supercharged this. Lockdowns made in-person meeting impossible. Dating apps became the only option. They saw massive growth, massive profits, a global pandemic. And they profited. Some would say they had incentive for it to continue. And now, pandemic's over, but the habit stuck. People forgot how to meet in person, or they're anxious about it, so they stay on the apps. The temporary became permanent. The exception became the rule. And younger generations, Gen Z, they've never known dating without apps, no baseline for comparison. This is just how it works. The idea of meeting someone without an algorithm seems alien, quaint. The platforms have captured an entire generation. They don't have the skills their parents had, reading social cues, approaching strangers, handling face-to-face rejection. Those skills weren't taught because they weren't needed until they are, and then it's too late. All of this contributes to the loneliness epidemic. More people alone, more people isolated, more people on apps, but less actual connection, less intimacy, less relationships. The apps aren't solving loneliness, they're industrializing it. The mental health numbers are bad. Rising anxiety, rising depression, rising loneliness, among young people especially. The age group that uses dating apps most. Correlation isn't causation, but it's worth asking questions. So what do? Delete the apps, go back to bars and coffee shops, hope to meet someone at the grocery store? That works for some people, but it's not realistic for everyone. The apps have changed the landscape. We can't just pretend they don't exist. Maybe the answer is harm reduction. Use the apps, but know what they're doing. Set limits, time limits, money limits, emotional limits. Don't let the algorithm tell you who you are. Don't let the app define your worth. The first step is awareness, understanding the mechanics, recognizing the manipulation, seeing the game for what it is. You can still play, but you play differently when you know the house is rigged. Some people are building alternatives, community-focused apps, friend-matching platforms, interest-based connections. Not everyone needs to find romantic love right now. Maybe what we need is friends, community, connection that isn't monetized. And maybe we need regulation. Dating apps are basically unregulated. No transparency requirements, no algorithm audits, no consumer protections. If we regulate casinos, if we regulate tobacco, maybe we should regulate dating apps. If we can acknowledge that social media is addictive and harmful, we can acknowledge the same about dating apps. Same mechanisms, same psychology, same profits, same harm. Just a different vulnerability being exploited. Yes, personal responsibility matters, but when the product is engineered to be addictive, when billions are spent on behavioral psychology, when the algorithm is designed to exploit you, personal responsibility isn't enough. Systems matter. The future of dating apps could be different. It could be better. Apps designed for actual connection, for getting you off the app, for protecting your data, your attention, your well-being. But that requires different incentives, different business models, different values. Love isn't a slot machine. Connection isn't a commodity. Your worth isn't determined by swipes. These should be obvious statements, but dating apps have made us forget them. They've gamified something that shouldn't be a game. Remember the pigeons? Spinning in circles, tapping their feet, creating rituals, hoping to trigger the next reward. That's not a life for a pigeon, and it's not a life for you either. You have agency, you have choice, not unlimited, not easy, but you're not helpless. You can use the apps differently. You can use them less. You can delete them. You can build other social connections. The algorithm is powerful, but it's not omnipotent. Maybe the question isn't how do I win at dating apps? Maybe it's why am I playing this game? What am I really looking for? What do I actually need? connection, validation, distraction, entertainment. There's no wrong answer, but you should know your answer. Real connection is messy, unpredictable, inefficient. It happens when you're not optimizing, when you're not performing, when you're not trying. Algorithms can't capture that, can't optimize for it, can't monetize it. Maybe that's a feature, not a bug. I'm not saying dating apps are pure evil. I'm not saying delete them and never look back. I'm saying know what you're dealing with, know the game, know the cost, and decide if it's worth it for you. The dating app industry won't fix this. They're too profitable as is. $3.5 billion from Tinder alone, $6 billion across the industry. They're not going to voluntarily make less money. Change has to come from users, from regulators, from alternatives, from us. Small rebellions matter. Not responding to hey, taking breaks, meeting people offline, supporting alternative platforms, having honest conversations about what these apps do to us. Culture changes slowly, then suddenly. The stakes are higher than finding a date. This is about how we connect, how we value each other, how we let ourselves be treated, how we spend our time, our attention, our lives. Dating apps are just the latest chapter in a longer story about technology and humanity. So the next time you pick up your phone, open a dating app. Start swiping. Ask yourself, am I using this app or is it using me? That's the question. The answer? That's up to you. Every swipe is a choice, not just about the person you're swiping on, but about what kind of dating culture you're participating in, what kind of future you're building, one swipe at a time. The pigeons eventually stopped. When the food stopped coming, they moved on. They found other things to peck, other ways to live. You can too. You're not a pigeon. You're not a lab rat. You're not a data point. You're not a user. You're a person. Worthy of love, worthy of connection, worthy of being treated like a human being, not a product. Finding love is hard. It always has been. Dating apps promise to make it easier. They made it more profitable for them. The house always wins unless you stop playing their game and start playing yours. If you found this useful, share it. Not on dating apps, but with friends, with people who use dating apps, with people who might need to hear this. Awareness spreads, and awareness is the first step to change. Leave a comment. Tell me your dating app experience, the good, the bad, the manipulative. The more we talk about this, the harder it is for platforms to pretend it's not happening. And if you want more videos like this, breaking down the psychology behind the products you use, the systems you're part of, the ways you're being influenced, do subscribe.